Operation 24 is a go. Today, we are reading for 24 hours straight. Shh. Yes, you heard me right. Today, we'll be reading for 24 hours straight. Ow. And we'll only be reading romance books today. What do you think? I know it was my idea. I'm currently already halfway through Life is Too Short by Abby Jimenez. So far it's okay, but we do have to finish this now. Then after that, I figured out a brilliant way to have you guys finally help me to pick what I'm reading. So these are all the romance books that I could find in my house that I have not read yet. I'm gonna put 2 books at a time on Instagram and allow you guys to pick which one I pick after I read this. So then I can actually have you help me. Brilliant, I know. The only thing I have to pick now is what the order is gonna be. So I'm thinking either The Do-Over or Powerless. I don't want to do something that is in a series yet, because if it's really good, I'm going to want to read the next book. And I don't have the next book of the Magnolia Park series or Before I Let Go. Actually, I do have that second book, so we could do this. But I'm not going to do that right now. All right. Let's take our pictures for the gram. How's that? It's cute. Look at me being a photographer. Not the new nails showing out too. Look. Amazing. This is for an event I have on Monday. If you follow my Instagram, like you should already, you're gonna see it before YouTube does, so you're welcome. All right, guys, it's up. Make sure you go vote. I'm nervous, but I have a solid game plan today. And I know I always say this, but you have to be Delulu before it's Tralulu. I came up with that myself. Are y'all ready? Gosh darn it, motherfreaking. I always say I love these, but then actually doing them is traumatizing. Okay, we're gonna do it. We're not gonna chicken out. Ready? Set, go. But first, we have to slow clap for Spotify. As a Spotify partner, I have absolutely been loving audiobooks. And I'm telling you, before this, I was not an audiobook girly. I never saw the point of them. I thought it was like kind of cheating when it comes to just saying that you're reading. But honestly, being able to go through Spotify's list of books, and by the way, they have over 250,000 books. Yeah. You heard me right, 250,000 books. I found that there are so many different ways you can enjoy these kind of books, and it's been absolutely magical. Like for one, I'm currently reading R.F. Kuang's The Poppy War. Now, I've had the physical Poppy War book for so long, I just haven't gotten to it because it just takes so long to read a physical book. And honestly, sometimes if I read for too long, my eyes feel like they're strained and they're glossing over a little bit, and I just need to take a break. So I don't get to get through books as fast as I would like to, even if the story is really good. But reading them on audiobooks has just been a game changer, because not only do I not have to worry about like the eye strain and stuff like that, but it adds an extra element because these are voice actors acting out the words that we just read on a page in our head. And that has been so cool. I didn't even realize that would be something that I enjoy until I started reading these audiobooks. And with the R.F. Kuang book that I'm reading, The Poppy War, it's about this girl who's impoverished, and she's from like the south of China, but she gets into this elite military school. However, the kids don't treat her well because she's impoverished. She has like darker skin, and obviously like fair skin is considered better or whatever. And not only that, like she goes through all of these things, and then she discovers that she has this very rare power of shamanism, and she uses that power to try to like save the day. So it's been so cool, not only because the book is well written, and you guys already know R.F. Kuang is my favorite author, but because these voice actors just add an extra element of like story. It just draws you in completely. And so now my daily like routine, every time I go take my niece to school, I just put on this book, and she doesn't even like books. You guys know this. But every time I put this on, all of a sudden she's quiet. All of a sudden she's listening and paying attention. So I think I cracked the code. And I think it's because these voice actors like add just this extra element of emotion. You're not just reading words on a page anymore. It's like you feel their emotion, you hear the inflection, and it's just making it a cinematic experience. And it's just been so cool. And now it's been something that we can like bond over. I've genuinely have been having such a good time with their audiobooks. And if you want to discover an audiobook that you'll love too, don't worry. They don't just have sci-fi fantasy. They also have a ton of different options. Over 250,000 books, don't forget. So if you want to try any of them out, make sure you you get your Spotify Premium. All you have to do is use the link in my description box. All right, now let's get back to this challenge. Currently at almost 3 hours, right? No, only 2 hours. So far, I only have about 100 pages left in this book, which is nice because I'm not really liking it. Honestly, I thought it was going to be one of my favorite books because I was going to be able to relate to the main female character, but it's not. She is a YouTuber and she thinks that she has ALS, which is a terminal disease, but she's not sure yet, at least at the part where I'm at. And she's currently like seeing but not seeing her neighbor, Adrian, who is a lawyer. And at first that was really cute, but sometimes Miss Abby Jimenez just loves miscommunication. And right now it is making me so annoyed. We're almost like at 100 pages of them going back and forth pretending like they don't like each other and they are both freaking in love with each other, and there's 100 pages left and I know she's gonna do it till the very end. Like, please, somebody stop this madness. It's so ridiculous. And not only that, I've noticed that a lot of the side characters and stuff is just all so grandiose. Like, it's not realistic. And if this was a book intended on not being realistic, that would be fine. Obviously, like, I like fantasy books, but it's not even like that. And honestly, my honest reaction to this book, I'm sorry, I saw my hair in the viewfinder and wow, she came out really good today. I've been having a really hard time doing my hair lately, and this is the first day in like 2 months it came out nice. So anyway, sorry about that. The side characters are just so grandiose and so ridiculous. It's just really annoying me, like, a lot. So I haven't been able to get into this book, and oh, this is what I was gonna say. Sorry. And so far right now, honestly, my genuine reaction to this book was like, oh, this must have been like a deadline book. Like, she had to get this book out at a certain time, and this is what it's giving. Because it's not really Abby Jimenez in her full glory, in my opinion. I feel like she does much better writing than this. I like Adrian. I like the male character. He seems really cool. And I do like Vanessa to a degree, but I just feel like there's so much going on. There's so much chaos they're trying to fit into one book that I'm like, just maybe a little overwhelmed. I just feel like I can't connect to these characters. So that is such a bummer because I thought that this was going to be good. The back really interested me, but now I'm just trying to finish the book, honestly. I'm not even really super interested anymore, which absolutely sucks because usually I am a sucker for an Abby Jimenez book. This is the first one where I feel like it's not going to be a 5 or 4 star. Also, I'm checking the poll, and so far it's overwhelmingly powerless, which I figured it would be. But still, we still have a chance for it to be something else. Let's see. Let's see how many votes we got anyway. So 382 votes for powerless and 224 votes for the do-over so far. It's looking like we're reading powerless. Done. We finished in 4.5 hours, and I kind of still stand by my sentiment. I thought it was okay. I just really don't like the side characters, and I felt like it was so grandiose. The story just kept getting wilder and wilder and less realistic, and that really got on my nerves. It almost reminded me of Wreck the Halls by Tessa Bailey, how like unbelievably ridiculous it got. And it really just took away from the story because it's like, girl, what are we talking about right now? There's no way all of this is happening. The dialogue wasn't really concise. It wasn't realistic like her dialogue usually is. And, you know, all the things that I mentioned before. And I just had such a hard time connecting with these two people. Obviously, I'm glad they worked out as we knew they would. But I just felt like it was too much. And of course, she had to throw in a third act breakup at literally the last 50 pages. I was like, now Abby, I don't believe in violence, but square up. It was just so ridiculous and so unnecessary. I literally felt myself glossing over, like my eyes glossing over as I was reading the end, just because it was just so ridiculous, so annoying, so like cliche too. I could see the ending a billion miles away. And I know with romances, usually you can. And honestly, usually I do like that. But this was just so ridiculously like cheesily calculated and just so outlandish. It just really, it did not sit well with me. So I didn't like it at all. I think this is my very first Abby Jimenez book that I don't like. So that's insane. Hopefully it's the last because I still believe in her writing. I just think that this one was, maybe she had a rough year. I don't know. But now we have to pick what I read next. So let's check Instagram to see what you guys said. It is Powerless. We are going to be reading Powerless. Let's see how many people voted. Okay, so 593 votes for Powerless and only 358 votes for The Do-Over. So it looks like we're reading Powerless. But guys, I do have a trick up my sleeve because I have a lot of laundry I need to do actually. I have a lot of chores that I need to do. So thanks to Spotify, we're gonna kick this 24-hour reading vlog or reading challenge in the butt because we're about to listen to it on an audiobook so I can get other things done, which will not only keep me focused because it's keeping my attention, keeping me awake, strategy, and number two, it's helping me get things done throughout the house. So hopefully I can finish my laundry. Maybe I can clean out my closet. I don't know, like, I just feel like a productive queen. I feel like a productive queen. Thinking outside the box. This is the first time, oh no, second time we're using audiobooks for their power. But this time it's even better than last time because now I'm doing stuff in my time. Like I'm not just sitting and listening to it because that will lead me to falling asleep. And we're not doing that today. We're not. Don't look at me like that. We're not. I'm sorry for scaring you. Track 16 now, and I'm pretty far into the book at this point, 23%. And I like it, but for me, it's eerily similar to Hunger Games. Like, very similar. Do you see Milo trying to jump up? Oh my goodness. Anyway, it's very similar to Hunger Games for me. Let me know in the comments below if you've read Powerless, if you felt the same way about Hunger Games, like if you read both of those series. Because for me, it's like almost word for word.
He copied my whole fucking flow! Word for word, bar for bar!
It's about this girl who lives in poverty currently, and she lives in this dystopian world. Not really dystopian, but she's in a very impoverished area, so it feels like that to her. She lives in this kingdom where they only care about people who have powers, and she doesn't have a power, which is why I think it's called Powerless. And she's completely ignored, and she just goes about living her life just trying to survive every day until she saves one of the princes from like the kingdom or whatever. And then she gets noticed, and eventually she has to play a part in this game where they have it every 5 years to pick someone who is worthy of being in the kingdom or whatever. Because the people who live in the slums have very like mundane powers. And the people who have really grandiose ones live obviously in the better parts of town. So everyone wants to do this because they feel like it's their opportunity to change their lives and get better for themselves. But she didn't want this. She happened to get into this predicament because she saved the prince. And I don't know, just so much of it reminds me of the Hunger Games. If you know the Hunger Games, it's very similar. There's a really horrible king who's like a tyrant, and the prince that she saved like helps him do a lot of his dirty deeds. So I do like the fact that it's like an enemy to lovers type of thing. You know, that's my bread and butter. And I do enjoy the book a lot, but I'm just like, this is very Hunger Games-esque. It's giving Hunger Games, and it's a trilogy. I didn't even know that. I thought this was a standalone book, but when I looked it up on Goodreads to say that I'm reading it, it's actually a trilogy, so that's interesting. But I don't know, maybe it's just me. Maybe I've just am comparing the two too much, but it feels very, very similar. Regardless though, I am enjoying the book. I like her wit. I like how strong she is. I like that she can hold her own, and I do like the characteristics of Kai, which is the prince that she saved that she hates. I also really enjoy listening to it on audiobook because two different people are playing it. So there's one female actor who's playing like the girl, so she's playing Peyton, and there's another guy actor who's playing Kai, which is the prince. And hearing their voices and like the background stuff is really cool. Like the background stuff isn't there all the time, but sometimes they add that. And it just adds like an extra element to listening to this book, to reading this book. So it's very interesting. I like it a lot. It makes me feel like I'm almost listening to a movie, which is nice because it's keeping a lot more of my attention. And as I get tired, I feel like this is going to be the perfect catalyst to keep me up. So we're doing good.
1 hour later.
It's 4:30 in the morning and I'm fighting for my life to stay up. The book is really good, but I'm tired. The voice actor, the male voice actor for this, he's the real MVP. He's the real MVP. Somebody help me. I'm so tired. I'm fighting for my life. Every time I blink, I'm like, whoa. Whoa, all I have to do is keep them closed. I can take a 5-minute nap right here, but I won't. I promise you guys, I am not going to sleep. I just know my downstairs neighbor is punching the air right now. I don't know how I go to the gym and I'm so out of shape. I really like the story. I think they're super cute. The enemies to lovers is enemies to lovers-ing. It is so good. What I didn't expect was the love triangle. Girl, that hit me different. I don't even usually like love triangles. For her and the two brothers, yeah, I can get with that. And I really like how he gives like that dark and mysterious vibe. And the voice actor for this on Spotify, killing the game. He really brings the energy. Like he has this dark, raspy voice. And it takes me a second to realize this ain't real. This man isn't talking to me because I'm like, take me out to dinner then. But it's a book, so I do have to remember that. Okay, first of all, I love that there's an easy map. The world isn't hard to understand. For like a romantasy situation, that's very rare to find, and I appreciate that. Also, number 2, the politics aren't hard to follow. There's a clear good guy and there's a clear bad guy. There's no black and white. It's very simple to see. There is like a little bit of like gray area for one of the brothers, but it's because he doesn't really know any better. And I can tell he's a good person, so we'll give him a pass. We'll give him a pass. Also, these fighting scenes have me kicking up my feet. Like the back and forth is cute. It's cute. It is cute. I get why you guys picked this book. It's very adorable. Like their banter is just top tier. Top tier banter. And it's funny because like they hate each other, but also they're always helping each other out, and I just love that dynamic. But he doesn't like know who she really is right now. He doesn't know that she's ordinary or whatever. So that's gonna be interesting to figure out when he figures that out. The only downside I see so far is that it's a little cliche. I do see a lot of the things happening before they actually happen, which is a little bit of a bummer because I do like a little bit of a surprise, you know? That's my only qualm. Besides that, very good, very, very good. And I think also because it's very similar to Fourth Wing and The Hunger Games, that it's like, I feel like I've almost read this book before. So I don't know if it will be a 5-star, but I am enjoying myself. It is like the perfect book for this really bad time at night where I have to stay up and try not to hate my life. So, and also I won't lie to you, my eyelids may have closed for longer than 30 seconds a few times. But hey, the book was on, I heard it, I think. I did become conscious at certain parts where I don't know how we got there, but tomato, 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 tomato. I am trying my best here. Now I definitely feel up though. I feel like I could take on the world. Again, it is 4:35 in the morning. I just know my brother wants to punch me in the face right now if he could hear me. Sorry. I feel really good. This is the first time I've done so good on a 24-hour reading vlog in a very long time, it feels like. But before we celebrate, I know we still have 7.5 hours. Like, how even is that? We still have like a whole work day. That's like a school day. I really thought we had less time than that. You know what I think it is? I always forget that whenever I pause it to talk to you guys, that adds more time for me. And I really be thinking I'm talking for only like 2 or 3 minutes, but girl, I look back and now I have an extra hour, an extra 2 hours. I gotta stop doing that. That's why the timer's on right now. So now what I was thinking, by the way, I cleaned my kitchen table. I am going to clean it once I get off. I don't want to hear nothing about it in the comments. Right now I'm just fighting for my life, okay? I gotta do what I gotta do. If I feel more awake up here, then I'm gonna be up here. I finished doing the laundry last time, so now I'm thinking we've got 7 hours to clean up my closet. It doesn't actually sound as fun as I'm trying to make it out to be, but I'm gonna fake it till I make it. And with this good audiobook and me like doing something with my hands, I feel like I'm really gonna make it to the morning. Plus the sun will be up relatively soon, so it won't be so hard. No. Okay, let's go. You know what I really like about this book? Kai, the main male character, he doesn't try to stifle her or like protect her too much. He allows her to be strong on her own, which is really cool to see. That's why it reminds me so much of Fourth Wing, because Xaden was the same way, the male love interest in that book too. And it's just really nice to see how writing has evolved, because I think when we were all growing up, or people around my age were growing up, it was all about like women needing to be saved. But now I love that the evolution of writing is allowing women to be strong in their own right, and to allow men to be like an addition to their greatness, not a necessity for them to be great. You know what I mean? And both brothers do that for her in a different way. Like Kai is very strong and like he's a fighter and he connects with her in that way. But I also feel like Kit does it in his kindness and generosity and his intelligence. And I just think that that is so cool, because it's very subtly shown throughout the book. And you feel it as the reader, but you don't realize where it's coming from or why you feel that way. And this author does a very good job displaying that she is strong and she is great with or without these men. But because they're so great too, they just add to her greatness. I love that. And not only that, I think it's incredible that Lauren Roberts, the author of this book, wrote this in like a year, because it's so long, it's so intricate and so well thought out, and yet she was able to get it done in like such a short amount of time. It's incredible. It's definitely given me a lot more respect for her as an author. Not that I didn't have any respect for her before, but stuff like this is definitely admirable to me. Like, I can't even imagine how difficult it is to write a book, but to do it so quickly and to do it so thoroughly with a really good story is very cool. Like, I'm definitely enjoying it, and I love seeing the different personalities and how these are two really good men, but in their own right, in their own way. I just love that. I don't know. We have less than 4 hours left. We can do this. We can do this. I always say I'm going to read 3 books and it literally never happens. It breaks my heart because I genuinely, my hair looks crazy, I'm sorry. I genuinely believe that I can do it. And then I genuinely forget how hard this challenge is. I've been fighting for my life. Fighting for my life. Fighting for my life. This is so hard. I was literally fine 10 minutes ago. My coffee's almost done. I was literally fine 10 minutes ago and now I feel like I'm dying. But we're gonna see this through. I'm no punk. I'm not cowering out. We've got 3 hours and 40 minutes. I think I can finish this in like another hour. And that gives us 2 hours to spare for another book. Also, I finished my closet. I know I said that, but like, look at us being productive. Wow, I know it doesn't look too different, but trust me, I threw out 2 bags of clothes. Or gave them away. Gave away 2 bags of clothes, so pretty proud. Let's finish this strong, ladies and gents, and everything in between. Let's go. I like to sit in the living room when the sun comes up because we have bigger windows here, and it makes me wake up because there's so much more natural lighting. Smarter, not harder. Final countdown. Do I still have the timer on? Absolutely. I don't care what you're saying. I'm cheating if that's what you want to call it. Copyright. All right, for real. Game face on. Let's do this. Less than 100 pages left. You know what I find so astonishing about this book? I'm over 400 pages in, and this is like the first romance, even like less spicy romances that I've read. This is the first romance where they haven't even kissed yet. And I'm 400 pages in. That's kind of insane to me. And it's weird because even though they haven't even done so much as kiss, they've done like a light brush of the lips. There's still so much tension, so much like, not lust for each other, because I do feel like they genuinely love each other, but want, desire. And they haven't even kissed. That's some good writing. That's kind of crazy to me because I feel like oftentimes a lot of romance authors maybe depend too heavily on spice scenes, and that's how they show the love or display the infatuation. But this author is showing that you can show genuine love for each other, romantic love for each other, without even a kiss. 400 pages in. That's different. I have never experienced something like that. And I did not expect this in this book. Mostly because this book is very popular on BookTok. And I'm not gonna lie, BookTok kind of scares me a little bit because in my experience, all the books that are popular on BookTok are usually very spicy and like, honestly, annoyingly spicy. So when I saw that this was popular and everyone told me to read it, I was very apprehensive and I thought it was just gonna be like trashy, spicy writing just to be spicy. And you know, even though it's not my cup of tea, if it's other people's cup of tea, I understand. It's just genuinely not my thing. So I was afraid that that's what this book was gonna be. And it's literally the opposite. It's like the first romance book that I've read where even in non-spicy books, they've kissed already. And I'm 400 pages in and they haven't even kissed? Crazy. Crazy. No. 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 Page 448. You know what? I had a feeling. It was going to be this person or that other person. I'm not going to give any spoilers, but I freaking knew it. It's still devastating and I'm trying not to cry. This king is so conniving, so evil, so calculated and like manipulative. It's crazy to me. He's like the perfect villain. Someone that is so easy to hate. Someone that's so easy to loathe. It's unbelievable. Honestly, I did not expect it to be as good as it was, but I was very pleasantly surprised. I definitely enjoyed it. I think it's between maybe a 3.5 star or 4-star read. And I do hear that the next book is coming out in July, so I'm cautiously optimistic. I always get worried with trilogies or duologies because, especially when they start getting popular, I feel like sometimes the writers just write stuff just to sensationalize it more, and it doesn't really add to the story. If anything, it takes away from the story, and I feel like this is a solid foundation, so I'm hoping she stays true to this layout, and the next book is really good too, because with Fourth Wing, I loved that first book, but the second book was just not good to me. So I am worried because I know it's longer than this book actually, not by much. This was like almost 500 pages. The next one is only a few more pages than this one, but we'll see how it is. It ended on like a cliffhanger, so you definitely need to read the second book. At first, while I was halfway through, I knew it was a trilogy before I started reading it. And when I was halfway through, I was like, you know, I'm not going to read this. If it ends on a good note, I'm just going to be done with the next book. And then it ended on a cliffhanger. And it just like, you know how there's an itch that you can't scratch or something? It feels like that. So now I'm like, oh, I need to know what's going to happen next, because it just left so unsettled. Like everything was so unsettled. It genuinely was like the beginning of another story, it felt like. So now I feel like I have to read the second book, but I'm scared to do that because I don't know, I'm afraid that it won't be good. So I'm not going to race to the store to go get the second one like I did with Fourth Wing's second book, but I will definitely keep my eye out on it and then hear what other people are saying to see if it's worth my time, because 500 pages is a lot. And I don't really want to spend all that time reading a book if it's not going to be good. So we'll see how that goes. Now we have to pick our third and final book. We have 2 hours left, a little shy of 2 hours, which is exciting. I feel like we can get through a decent amount of a book in 2 hours. And these are the ones that I'm thinking about. This is a slow burn rom-com, according to Abby Jimenez, which is so funny. And this one is considered, well, it doesn't say. I think I'm going to give Sarah Adams a try. Let's see. This book is about a pop star who's just kind of having a mental breakdown at this point. She's just trying to get away from her busy life. And she runs into this rugged, small town boy, and he just makes her feel like she's living again, sees the smaller things in life, sees the important things in life. That's what it sounds like so far, and the humor is really good, so I'm definitely enjoying it. That was not as hard as they usually are, but it was still hard nonetheless. I'm very, very tired. Very, very, very tired. We read some really good books though. Life is Too Short wasn't a favorite of mine. I do really like that there was representation for ALS and like just supporting good mental health practices and stuff like that. I love that she always does that in all of her books and like promotes those things. And just being a good person, giving back, thinking about others, stuff like that. I always love that she does that in her books. I just did not like the grandiose nature of that book. I just felt like it was all over the place, to be frank. But it was okay. It wasn't awful. It wasn't an awful read. I still like their banter. I still like their connection. I just thought it was a little too much. With Powerless, I definitely liked that way more than the first book. Honestly, it was a long read, but listening to it on audiobook definitely added an additional layer to it because the voice acting was so good. I really enjoyed that. And I'm kind of surprised by that because I knew it would be fun to listen to someone else read the book, but it was really, really captivating and I didn't expect that. So that was cool. And then also when I went back to reading it normally, I still really enjoyed it. I think the storyline was really fantastic. It wasn't too much world building. It was super simple, so easy to follow, which I appreciate in a romantasy because it just makes it easier to follow, especially when it's a series. I think I will read that second book again just because it kind of left on a cliffhanger kind of. So I do want to see what happens after that, but it's a 3-part series. So I'm like, there's just so much possibility for error. So I'm a little wary about that, but we'll see. And last but not least, so far I am liking this book. This is my first Sarah Adams book. This is the one I got from the Strand, I think. This was my Date with the Book. So that's really cool. The banter is really good so far, and it does pick up very quickly, which is not surprising because it's a short book. I think it's less than, oh no, it's about 300 pages. So yeah, sounds about right. And so far I'm enjoying it. I like the guy a lot, Noah. Every time I read his parts, I read it in a country accent, so that's fun. And I'm just pretending like the girl is just this big shot pop star, but she's like down to earth and she's a good person deep down. So I really enjoy it so far. The banter is really cool. The writing is super fast, easy to work with, and the words aren't that small. So I feel like it's going to be an easy read. I think I can get this done in like a few days. So I'm excited to keep reading this. Overall, give us a thumbs up because A, I didn't fall asleep. Thank God for that. My eyelids may have closed for longer than 30 seconds. A few times. And B, we got through 2 really good books. I think we would have gotten through this last one if we didn't pick Powerless for the second book, because Powerless was so big. I could have picked another 300-page book and I could have done 3 whole books. So it is what it is. Honestly, I think it's fine because I still read a good quality book. So I'm happy with that. I can live with that. But one day, one of these days, I will read 3 books in one day. You mark my words. All right, I'm off to sleep, probably. Okay, good night, love you, or good day. Get out.